Hi, I'm Kelly from J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute little thing. It ended up nothing like I planned it was going to be, but sometimes that just happens. I'm really pleased how it came out. So anyway, let's get to it. To make this pendant you'll need 0.6mm wire, so I'm going like a smaller, thinner wire than what I would normally recommend. If you want to use something a bit thicker then you can, but you may struggle with the size of this one because it's going to be really tiny. Hopefully it's going to be really tiny, this one. So we've got 0.6mm wire, which is 22 gauge, and I've cut 5 lengths at 7 inches, which is 18 centimeters. Weaving wire, again, I'm going a little bit thinner than I normally would, so I'm using 0.25mm, which is 30 gauge. So I've wound 150 centimeters onto my bobbin. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. If you don't have one of these, don't worry. You can just drawn all over it. You can just cut lengths as you go. If you don't have one of these, absolutely fine. But yeah, if you do have one, that I used one once and I use them every time now because it just makes it so much easier working with the longer lengths. Right, okay, so I've got a little stone. So my stone is 10mm by 7. It's quite thin. So like I say, if your stone is much thicker, then start with more base wires. Mine's a little oval. You can use any shape. You can use an oval, a circle, a teardrop. Right, what's next? Tools. Oh, I keep getting stopped today and forgetting where I've got to. Okay, tools. Pliers, round nose, cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I just like having these handy for flattening the weave and straightening the wires. My nylon ones are Prestige. All my other tools are Tronex. I'll put a list of all these in the description below. I don't have links, but yeah, I'll put a list of everything that I use in the description below. People keep asking me what these pliers are. They're called needle nose, and I think because they do so many different types now, you kind of get a bit lost trying to find the ones that you like. I just wanted something that was really tiny on the ends so you can really get into all the gaps. And these have got quite short handles, but that's plenty for me. And the Tronex range, they're so strong and durable. I do recommend them. It does work out cheaper in the long run. I know they're expensive when you're buying them to start off with. You could just buy one pair to start off with. I found when I was using the cheaper ones, I was buying them every week, so that was working out more expensive in the long run. I think my cutters have got longer handles. Those are really quite long. All the rest have got quite short handles. Don't know if that makes any difference. Personal preference, I suppose. Right then, let's get started. Oh, and bail pliers, if you have them. These were only cheap. Beadsmith, these ones. And they got like the 6 sizes on. These are really useful. Sometimes I find that this section is a little bit small, and I've got some really cheap ones that I bought many years ago. I think these was only about £3. I can't remember where I got these from. They haven't got a name on. These are brilliant because you've got the 2 sizes, and I mostly use the little one just for shaping the bails around. So you can use anything you like. You don't have to spend money with your bail pliers, because you only really need the shapes to bend the wires around. You can use anything as well, like if you've got a little slim pen or a paintbrush, or you know, anything really, a little slim kind of pencil. You can use all these things just to shape the bail around, so you can improvise if you don't have the exact tools. I do recommend the Tronex pliers and the nylon pliers, but as far as bail pliers goes, you can use anything you like really. Right, going on a bit now, aren't I? So cut your wires to the length that I have. Position your thumb kind of centrally on those wires, and we'll start weaving. Let's have a think. We'll start weaving just to the left of that center point. So take your weaving wire. I've got a little bit of an interesting weave for you to try, and we'll use this throughout. If you want to swap it for a different weave, something a bit more simple, then do that and then stick with that throughout. I'm just trying to make it a bit different, a bit more interesting. So we'll start with, and we're using the thinner wires today, so you got to be try and be a little lighter handed than normal. We start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. You'll probably hear Gracie snoring already. So we come around the bottom 2, come up between, go around the middle 2, come up between. Oh, I'm all out of breath. Go around the top 2, and then we'll do a few wraps around that top wire. So we'll go around twice. Come up between the middle 2, and we'll go around the top 2. Come up between the bottom 2. We'll go around the middle 2 wires, and then we'll come around the bottom 2, and then wrap a few times just around that bottom wire. And where's my nylon pliers gone? I'll push that together a little bit. So this is the repeat I'm going to do throughout. If you're using more wires, you'll need to obviously weave over more, and this weave you can actually adapt it to different amounts of wires, so you could still use this weave if you want to. But we'll repeat that a few more times. We're just tying the wires together to start with. So do another couple of repeats of that. So I've done 3 repeats of that weave. We can cut the weaving wire at both ends. And then press those little cut ends down. Whoop. So now we're going to take that weave and we're going to kind of grip it centrally, just to the right of the centre. And we're going to bend that into a V. Now, this V, your stone is going to sit into there. I've just realised this bit's going to be quite fiddly because the stone is so tiny. Okay, bend that a bit more. So what we need is to keep this stone as central as we can. So I think I'm going to just shape it with my fingers to start with. So if we can bring that weave around on both sides. So we need to bring the wires up and around the stone. Kind of like that. I don't know if you can see that properly. The wires come around the stone. So we've got a gap at the bottom and a gap at the top. So if you're new to this, you might want to try it with a bigger stone first. In fact, if you're using bigger wires, you can do a normal size version of this. I'm doing a tiny version. You could use bigger wires and a bigger stone and do a normal size version of it. So where the wires cross above the stone, we're going to bend them straight up. So you can use your fingers, or you can just grip the wire with your pliers a little bit. And then you can bend the wires out. Do you know what I mean? out that kind of shape, and then take it away from the stone and have a look at it and make sure it's pretty central. I always bend the one side around a lot nicer than the other, so that's what we want. So we'll do another little bit of weaving. So we're going to join at the top here where the wires join, but I'm going to just put a little bit of a weave there on this top side, and I'm going to do the same weave as the bottom. So to make that easier, holding the wires here, I'm just going to pull those out. So it's a bit easier to weave across these wires. And I'm going to do the same weave as there. I'll probably just do a repeat or two at the top. So take your weaving wire and wrap a few times around the bottom wire. Slide that down. And we'll just do the same weave. As she says, like it's easy peasy. To go around two, come up in between, again being nice and light on these thin wires. Go around two, come up in between, go around the top two, come up in between, 3 times around that top wire. Was it 3 or 2? I think I just did 2. Come up between the middle 2, go around the top 2. You can probably hear our Grace breathing really heavy. Come up between the bottom 2, wrap around the middle 2, wrap around the bottom 2, a few wraps around that bottom wire. I'm going to push this together, but it's hard to get in, so I'm going to use my standard pliers. I think I'm going to add another repeat in there so it holds it nice. So I've done another repeat, I've pushed it all together. I've finished with 3 wraps around the back wire, the bottom wire. And we're going to do a bit of a weave on this side as well, so I can cut both of these off, because we'll use the other side to join it in just a moment. So to do the other side we have to turn it around, so now we're working upside down. Let me just press down those little cut ends. Turn it around, and because we're working upside down, let me just spread out these wires a little bit. Because we're working upside down, we need to put 3 wraps around the top wire. Oh, I'm bending all the wires. It's so easy to bend these little thin wires. Okay. See, I make mistakes too. Push that down. We're going to do the same weave, just the 2 repeats to match that side on this side. So working from the top, we come up between the middle 2. We go around the top 2 wires, come up between the bottom 2 and go around the middle 2 wires, go around the bottom 2, a few wraps around the bottom wire, then we go back up, around the bottom 2, come up in between, around the middle 2, come up in between, around the top 2, a few wraps around that top wire, push it together a little bit, and then we're going to do another repeat. Mine's a bit high up, so I need to pull it down. Don't use your nails. So I've done 2 repeats on that side. Now these thin wires do keep moving and bending. We'll cut the wire just from the beginning. Keep the other end still long for now. So we need to make sure we haven't misshaped this with all that weaving, because it's easy to, really easy to bend these little thin wires out of shape. This is going to be so cute when it's done though. It'll be worth all the messing about. So go over your shape and make sure it's as you want it to be. Make sure it still fits your stone. And then we're going to just tie the top together. So again, make sure your wires aren't crossing over each other. Spreading them out just so I can see where they are so they don't cross over each other. And then take your weaving wire around the whole thing, so hold in the middle together. I'm going to wrap around the whole thing about what, 6 times? Have I gone 6 times? And then find a back wire and we'll wrap around that. Hold that down. Make sure your stone still fits. So I bought these little stones absolutely years ago, so that's a grey moonstone in there, and I've kept it because it's the wrong size to do anything with. It's too small. It's too big for using as a small stone and it's too small for using as a big stone. So I'm thinking, I bet you've all got stones that you've bought that you can't use. So I'm going through my stash now at all the stuff that I can't use, thinking, what can I do with these stones that I've had for years? Because I bet you've all got stones as well, stashed, that you can't use for anything. I've got some squares as well, some rectangles. I've got quite a few donuts. I know I've done donuts before, but I bet there's loads of stuff you've got in your stash. Let me know in the comments below, right below, the shape of stone that you've got loads of, that you've not really used. And we'll see if we can use them up. Right, so we'll secure the stone first and then we'll do the bail. So if we take your stone out for a minute, we need to be able to get in between these wires. I always say pop your nail in there and pull the wires apart, but I don't want to because I've grown my nails and I don't want to. So get your pliers in there and just part your wires a little bit so we can get them around the stone. So we'll grip the bottom wire at the bottom, not right at the bottom, like at the bottom of the stone, where the stone meets the side. So I'm going to grab it about here. Grip that wire, make sure you've just got the one wire, and we're just going to bend the pliers a little bit. And I held the wire at the top there so it didn't move as I pulled that in. And we'll do the same on this side. Hold on, turn it round. Try and hold the top in place. Make sure you just grip in one wire. Twist it in. My top keeps bending. Oh, I've got 2. I've pulled 2 wires in. That's because the wires are so thin. I'm going to bend one back. So my top keeps twisting. I'll try and keep it square. My one wire is a little bit higher than the other. Oh, and there's Grace making all the noise. So then we're going to turn it over to the back. And you do need to make sure you've got a gap between those wires, otherwise you may grab two and then it's a nightmare. So make sure your stone is in there, grab that back wire and we're going to bend it in, again holding the top, press the wire against the stone, turn him around. Once this is in, it shouldn't be as fiddly. Try and grip it in the same place. Twist the pliers to bend that wire over the back. Press it against the stone. If you're not happy, adjust it like I do. Keep changing it till you know that stone is held in there. You can also squeeze the wires around the sides to hold it. The back's gone in better than the front. That's alright, I'll save that now. I did do it wrong to start with. Right, next. Bail. I'm thinking you could do earrings if you want to. You need a little bit more patience than me, I think. So if you want to do earrings, you could do them both at the same time and match them up as you go. So again, I'm sorting out my top wires. Just spreading them out so I can see what's what. So take the back two wires on both sides and pull them out. Just pull them down out the way. So we've got 4 middle wires. And then we're going to weave across them. So kind of let them go where they want to. And just try and get them flat next to each other so we can weave across those 4. So we're going to do the same weave as we did before. So if you did a different weave, you can do that one. But now we're going across. So this is going to be our bail. And we'll go across the 4 wires. So I'm going around 2, coming up between. It'll be a bit tricky to start with because the wires kind of bunched together there. So persist for now. And it will sit nice in just a moment, I'll show you. Going around the middle 2, come up between, go around the top 2, come up between. Push that down the best you can. Then we go a few wraps around that top wire. Honestly, it'll be easier in a moment. Come up between the middle 2, so we wrap around the top 2. Come up between the bottom 2, we go around the middle. Then we go around the bottom 2. Where's my nylon? Pliers gone. I'll try and push that down a bit. So when you're weaving across the top here, the wires keep trying to splay. So you just pull them back together. Grace is protesting because she's too hot. Do a few wraps around the bottom. Grace is my little pug if you didn't know. She's the one making all the noise. And we'll keep repeating that weave. I'll put a little picture of her on the screen. Keep repeating that weave. Oh, and I must say before I forget, please mention me when sharing your work online. Please don't share in progress or images of the back, as it gives all my little design secrets away. Thank you everybody for mentioning me. I really do appreciate you guys. I really do. And for all your support recently on Facebook. You guys are awesome. I've got a Patreon account if you fancy extra exclusive tutorials, early access to videos, and there's a Discord chat. There's a few of us on there now. So that's quite fun if you want to consider jumping over to Patreon. It's all very much appreciated. As you know, I do all this on my own. I don't have a magic wand, and a lot of work does go into all of these tutorials. But you guys all make it worth it. It's lovely. I absolutely love it. So thank you all in advance. Please mention me. So keep going. And we'll weave that bail. So we're going to need, now if it was big, I'd say we normally do about 2 centimetres, but because this is going to be tiny, we're not going to need that much. So let me just do that first. Right, so I think that's going to be enough weave, and it is from the wraps here right down here at the bottom, so it does spread out a little bit at the bottom there. I've got a total of 2 centimetres. If you do this weave any bigger, it could end up being too big on the top. So I'm going to go with that for now. So that's actually, I've done 12 repeats. So if your gauges are all the same as mine, I've done 12 repeats of that weave. So what we'll do now is bend it forward at the base there, and then we'll bend it over to the back, because this is going to be our bail. You want to try and get it nice and straight if you can. And if you have bail pliers, you can always bend the weave around that. So at the back, you need to bend the wires out. So make sure you finished your weave with 3 wraps so it doesn't come undone. And then we can bring that together there at the back. Do you know what I mean? And we got a little bail, just get it nice and straight there. At the back, what you can do is part the wires a little bit. So that you can see that it's nice and central. And then pinching it together there, what we need to do is go around the whole thing. I'm going to miss out the outer wires, and I'm going to go around the 2 inner back wires and the middle. So I'm tying that down. And pull it nice and tight. I'll go around a few more times. And then at the back, we can wrap around a single wire just to secure those wraps in place, and then that's our bail tied down. Give the wires a squeeze around the stone. Mine's come forward a little bit. Really give them a squeeze so it really holds it nicely. So far so good. Right, so we've got 2 wires on this side. We've spread them out. We've got 2 wires at the back coming out to the sides, and we've got these 2 wires at the back going down. So take this wire on this side here, we're going to push it down at the base, and we're going to scoop it around. You've probably seen me do this type of thing loads of times. We'll bring it around, and we'll take it out to that side. and then take this next wire, push it down at the base, scoop it around, so push it around with your finger, bring that wire around, the same, take that one out too. And I think I'm just going to weave along these two wires just a little bit. I'm going to try and put a bead on. So these base wires, I'm going to try a 3mm bead. I just don't want anything too big because this pendant is tiny. Is that too big? I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try and keep that there and see if that works. Right, so we're going to weave across these two wires here. So take your weaving wire. We're going to need a bit more than I said. I'm on my last little bit here. I'm going to wrap around the lower wire a couple of times. So weaving across just those two wires there at the front that we've shaped around. I'm going to go around both wires twice. Come up between those two wires. I'm going to wrap around the top wire. Then I'm going to wrap around the bottom wire. I was going to do a different weave, but this will work. This will be it. Hold on. So we go around both wires twice. Come up between the two. Around the top wire, around the bottom wire. Two wires twice, come up between, around the top, around the bottom. Push it together as you go, cute little weave. So I've gone about halfway down the stone. I've decided I'm going to add this wire into the mix. This back one, the back side one from earlier. Going to grip that wire right at the base, wiggle your pliers right up there, and I'm going to bend it up, and then I'm going to scoop it over. I've got great big nails to do this. You can just bend it over with your fingers, and it's going to go around, and it's going to follow those two. And it's going to come across to the other side. And then there, I'm just going to add it into the weave. So I'm going to go around two wires, come up between those two wires, go around the top two like that, around the top wire, around the middle wire, so come up between the bottom two. Why isn't that focusing? We wrap around the middle wire, wrap it around the bottom wire. I'll do that again to include that top wire. So I've done a few repeats of that, tying it all together, push it all up. Then I'm just going to carry on weaving across the bottom two, like we did before. Wrap around both twice, come up between. Just a few more repeats over those two wires. So I've added a few more repeats to that weave. And then I'm going to bring it around to the bottom there. So add or take repeats until you get to that bottom bit there. And then I'm going to bend those wires through. So when you know you've got enough repeats, we can finish that. Hold on, which way did I go? Finish that with a few wraps around one of the wires. Cut that wire. Take the ends through the gap there, the bottom. Now these wires are going to really get in the way, so I'm just going to pull them out. Trying not to misshape it too much. I'm going to push that through, pull it through. And then push the wires out to the side when you're happy that weave's in place. You can cut that little tail end off from the beginning there. So you really can do anything you want with these wires. Just have a play around with where they end up, see where they take you. Right, next. Yeah, so looking at these two wires, take the front one, bring it down at the base, and then scoop it around. And we only want a little tiny scoop on this side. Like that. This next wire, I'm going to push it down at the base. I'm going to scoop it into a big scoop, and I'm going to go across the front and over to this side here. So when I drew this down earlier, I really like that. So I'm going to come right across the top there, and then this wire is going to go through the top of the bail there. Sometimes I find it easier to grip the wire with the pliers. So I want that to be nice and flat around the bail, so I'm just going to gently press that around. But I want that shape to come quite low. Do you know what I mean? Kind of changing the shape of the top there, bringing that around. That's it. I'm going to cut that wire and I'm going to put it around the bail. Gracie just woke herself up. And press it around the bail. She just woke herself up snoring. Yeah, I like that. This back wire here, I'm going to bring it forward there. I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And I'm going to scoop it around to follow lower than that wire on that side there. So now we've got two wires coming down that side. So bring those two wires together. And I'm going to take them around. I'm not going to weave these two because I've wove that side and I don't want too much weaving. So I'm going to bring those around this side of the stone. And then pulling them back a little bit, I'm going to take the ends, I'll take them one at a time, through the bottom there. Trying not to misshape these bare wires. Oh, I don't think it's possible. Gonna have to misshape them a bit and then reshape them. Very slowly push them back into place. So those two wires come down that side, and then when you're happy, pull them out to the side. So far so good. Right, we've not got much left to do now. So I'm going to take this wire, so we've got the two coming down on this side from that weave. I'm going to take the top one. I'm going to bring it around and over the front. Then I'm going to take the other one, also around and over the front. These wires are so tiny. Then the other side, I'm going to scoop those around. Again, they're so tiny. And this last one. So the two on this side, I'm just going to finish them at the bottom there, because I don't really want them to come up over this, because I like this being the way it is. So I'm going to cut them and bend them around the bottom there. Show you. There they are, just starting to come through the back there. And then where those wires have come around, I'm going to pull them over the weave, and then if I can get in there, I'm just going to press them around that weave there and squeeze them. So where these two come over, where that weave is, hold on, we've got these two wires at the back. I'm going to finish those at the back. If you want to bring them over the front and do something with them, Be my guest. If there's a chance your stone is going to come out at the top, you could always attach them to that back wire and it'll secure it more in place. Shall we do that? We'll do that. I was going to just cut them short and curl them, but we might as well make use of them. Do you want to get a little tiny gap between the stone and that back wire? She says, like it's easy. In there. And then with round nose, bend him around and take that end around that wire. Don't tighten it up just yet. Do it to the other side too, so then you can match up the wire shapes. So wriggle your way in there, come on. Oh, it's warm in here today. There we go. And pop that wire around. Pop it around like it's easy. Pop. Wriggle that wire around, and again the same way. Slowly wriggle those wires around into place, pulling them a little bit tighter, and then we can squeeze them in place. I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes. I haven't, it's alright. It's my age. Squeeze them around, come on, and cut them off. So you'll need to push them in a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And press those little bits around. So these two wires are going to go over to the back, and I'm going to wrap around that back wire. So bring it to come a little bit below that join, and that's going to attach at the back. Should we do that first? Because this wire, I'll show you, this wire is going to scoop around, nothing like my original drawing. And go around the back of those too, a little bit, something different. It is something different, and it's sort of like my original drawing. The wires do have their own direction going on, that's for sure. So we've already got a nice gap. Those two can just pop around, pop that back wire like it's easy. Go on. But as you pull them around, you have to keep checking on the front shape, because when you pull the wires at the back, they do tend to pull out a shape at the front, so every time you move it, have another look just in case. And then when that's gone around, you can finish that off by just pressing it around the back there. And there we have it. I just need to run and oxidise and I'll show you. So there we have it, finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. I'll put links below. Thanks for watching, and if you've made it this far, you're a star. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye.